Hello, all. Happy new moon in Taurus. So, this is quite a new moon. It's actually not going to be so much about this new moon. We love new moons in Taurus because it gives us this chance to start being a little bit more practical about, and we've had like a whole month of this. So, um, using this energy to start new things, new structures in our life, and to plant those seeds of intention that will maybe bring us a little bit more comfort and a little bit more bit more safety and security in our life. Maybe it's telling us to slow down and appreciate what's around us, all of the beautiful spring flowers and the new babies being born and all of those wonderful things that bring us quality and value to our life, but aren't necessarily those things that just stand out as big moments. That's the new moon. That's the new moon this time around. Story's really not as much in Luna as it is in the other things that are going on in the chart. So if you take a look up here, first of all, let's just take a look. This is a great time to ground, y'all. It's a great time to intuit. The only one that's thinking out there is Pluto. And we got a little bit of fire going on just right now here at this moment, particularly Chiron. There are some stars that are down here. I didn't have time to put that in, but we do have a grand cross going on, particularly tomorrow. It's going to be very powerful. And that would mean that I'm trying to think what the name of the planets and stars are down there, but I'm sorry, I digress. Anyway, so there's some tension, shall I say. There's some tension, there's some challenges, and there's some room for opportunity. That's the way we're going to spin this. So you will see that Jupiter, our planet, our benevolent planet of opportunity, has just ingressed into Taurus. So some people will say that this is not a good time necessarily, or it's not necessarily a complementary energy. In other words, Jupiter can't expand as much as it would like, or doesn't choose to expand in the way we think of Jupiter as doing its good works while it's in Taurus, because Taurus is a pragmatic energy and it's very practical. So if you think of it in those terms, maybe too much expansion, getting too big for your britches, is a little too quick, a little too much, not necessarily those big favors that come our way with some of the other times, some of the other signs where Jupiter is present. It's been in Aries. So if you think about it, we were sitting at home. Jupiter moved into Aries, and we all got a little bit more active with that Aries energy. Those two fiery energies worked pretty well. They got us up off our can, which we desperately needed to. Well, maybe some of us now are starting to dive a little bit too much into that energy of working and going and going and going, and we're not in our Taurus energy enough, meaning, we're not grounding, or we're not slowing down enough to appreciate the little simple things in life. So maybe Jupiter's job for the next year is going to be to expand how we simplify our lives and expand our comfort. I think that, there's definitely going to be some benefit once we kind of get into it to expand our pocketbooks, but also our waistlines, because we know that Taurus loves to kind of relax and be a little bit more, oh, let's take it easy, let's take it slow, and let's enjoy nature and things like that, but also loves comfort food and, warm fuzzies and things like that. So maybe we're going to wind up using a lot of this Jupiter energy to overemphasize some of those areas. So just be very mindful of that the next year, or you're going to be like me, trying to lose more weight than what I'm trying to lose now. So, it'll definitely expand your butt. That's what I can say. If you allow it to. Someone like me anyway, but I use that excuse at any given moment. I think the really big story is that Jupiter is at 0 degrees. Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius, even though it's gone retrograde. It's at 0 degrees retrograde, and it's hanging out. It's just hanging out there. And it will be there until, I believe, June 11th at 0 degrees. And then tomorrow, Mars is going to be at 0 degrees Leo. And so that's a direct opposition between the two lords of Scorpio. I know you're probably saying, can't Scorpio get a break? But this gives you a lot of power, Scorpio, and I think a lot in the fixed energies as well. So Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo all are probably going to be a little bit more affected by this. And we're going to be dealing with this Plutonian energy for a good 8 months. And, we already have been feeling this. It's not going away really quick. When Jupiter retrogrades back, it's going to go back to that 27th degree mark. So it's going to hit the one last time is going to hit the American or the inception of our country's birth, our birth chart for the country, for USA. And so this will be the final time that it does that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens then. And then it'll finally come back into, it'll finally come, it'll come all the way back, to Capricorn here at 27 degrees. And then it's going to go ahead and it'll stay in Aquarius after that, I believe. So tomorrow we're going to have this exact moment. When we started out the year, we started very slow because, Mars was in retrograde and it took it forever to get out of Gemini. And we all kept saying, well, when March comes around, everything will move. And it did. I think you would agree that it did start moving. But then we had the eclipse seasons, right? The eclipse season. So that threw a wrench in that pile. And Mars was still kind of moving slow. But now it is well in its fiery state. So Mars is going to be in Leo, where it really likes to take stage and be impulsive, but also take action on some creative endeavors. And I would say that back to the Pluto opposition that's creating this T-square here with Jupiter. I think that tomorrow specifically, you might want to look and see in your chart where you have personal planets at 0 degrees or 29 degrees or 1 degree, close to that mark, because that's where you're going to be affected the most. I know myself, I have Jupiter, my natal Jupiter, at 0 degrees Leo. So I think I'm probably going to get a little extra dose of this, which for me means that I have to be very careful about watching my mouth and how I express myself, especially in control. I'm going to have to control my controlling issues, just to be frank. People really kind of fear Pluto because it has a reputation for, death and destruction and, the things that are a little darker. And so when you add that fiery energy of Mars, which can be rage and war, you put those two together in an opposition, there's definitely a propensity to lose our heads, say things we don't mean, do things we don't mean, finalize things maybe before they should have been finalized, cut someone to the quick and walk off. So we want to watch that. But if we're going to spin it in a more positive direction, maybe it is time to speak up. Just do it with a very mindful heart and express yourself with kindness, if at all possible. But maybe it is time to cut the ties on something that's been going on far too long. If it's been going on far too long, you know it. And if it hasn't done, if it isn't over with, then Pluto will certainly help you get there, whether you think you're ready for it or not. But remember, let's just use the job as an example. You get fired from your job. You look back 10 years from now and you go, oh my gosh, that was what was supposed to happen. It was such a godsend. So just keep that in mind. I always like to welcome Pluto in. So I'm ready for it when I have a big opposition or a big transit going on. Welcome it in and know that something timely, something that it's ready to happen is going to happen. And it seems to me like it makes a huge, huge difference in the way my soul is able to accept things. If I say, okay, I'm ready for this to come to an end. I just don't know how to end it. God help me out, basically. It just goes so much better and so much smoother. And I don't put myself through those mental, kind of, this is jacked up moments and, where I'm going to fall to my knees. I know that those times are definitely in the future. It's inevitable that you're going to have those times that are very sad and dark, but this does not have to be one of them. So don't let people scare you. Okay. So enjoy it, use it, pay attention. We got Mars taking action, Pluto, transformation, Jupiter giving you the practical tools to really help you move forward and really help you accept this. So just know that it's all happening for you and not to you. And until I see you again, blessings and stars. Have a beautiful weekend. By the way, Sunday's probably going to be a pretty nice day. So enjoy Sunday. Tomorrow, hang low, cover your head, go be by yourself. That's a great, great choice. If you can be by yourself, be by yourself, but don't take things too seriously. Don't get yourself worked up. Okay. Bye-bye.